Hello and good evening again. Welcome back. Today we are going to be going over Sword World 2.5, the character building book, on how to use the full character generator. This is a process that takes you through step by step through the character building process of Sword World 2.5. It'll help you build your character, create the history, and also help you pick all the different little feats and abilities that you get off starting from the beginning, as well as creating a little story for you to figure out who exactly this character is going to be, as well as what sort of character you can play with it. So to begin, we're going to be making 4 characters tonight. Each of these characters is what I think would be useful for a standard JRPG, TRPG party. And with each of these characters, hopefully you'll be able to play Sword World 2.5 with some friends as well. So I'll be releasing these characters so that everyone can use them and download them if you want to have some easy created characters that are pre-made for you. And so let's get started. Starting off, we have the familiar Google Sheet from last time. Today we will have to figure out what we're making first. And I felt like we need somebody to be able to lead the charge in this party. Somebody who is going to be at the forefront of the party, standing in the front and absorbing all the hits so that the enemy can't get into the back line. So with that, I think that we should be making a warrior today. So using the character building book, there's quite a few different characters you can make. The warrior type, let's see here. I'm going to pull that onto screen. So the character building book has a bunch of stats for each of the different types of characters. The warrior type, as you can see, specializes in having high melee power, high defense, but they're just about everything else is kind of luck-laster. They're not really that great at magic supports, they're not really that great at healing or ranged or searching for that matter. This is just speaking right off the bat. Eventually you can pick up additional classes so that you can round out this ability, but this is just starting from the very first level, what you can expect from an adventure that is geared towards a warrior type. So you can see at the very bottom here, the primary class for this warrior type in the character building book on page 43 is that you would start off with a fighter at level 2. So let's go put that into our class right here, fighter. Right here, fighter. Why is it not allowing me to edit? Hold on just a moment as I figure out why I am locked. That is why. Let me change that to editing. There we go. Can I? Nope, gotta refresh the page. Got it. Refresh, please. Alright, I have received permission. Alright, Fighter 2 is what I get to start with. And I have 1000 EXP points left. Now, we can now choose a couple of different races that are suggested and as a recommendation. You can have a human warrior or dwarf, a nightmare, lycant or lycants, depending on how you would like to pronounce it, rune folks, Lodrakins, and Tiens. I won't be going over each of the different races in this video, perhaps in another one, but right off the bat, I would like to choose the Nightmare class. So we're going to go with Nightmare. And it just so happens that there is a handy little picture of the Nightmare already, right here. So Nightmares look very much like humans. The major difference is that they have horns, as you can see, right there. They got funny eyes. And the special ability for Nightmares, well, if you're familiar with 5th edition D&D, they're kind of like tieflings, in which they are born in very rare situations. The special ability of Nightmares is that they have an alternate form that they can transform into, and when they are within this form, they can ignore all spell casting requirements when wearing armor. So in this game of Sword World, when you are a spellcaster, there are limitations for you to cast a spell. As a Nightmare, when you go into your alternate form, you can ignore those restrictions. You can also ignore a bunch of somatic requirements, which means being able to have a hand free. So this is the guy we'll be making today, or attempting to make today, depending on how the situation goes. I'm going to put him right on top of me right here. Alright, so the Nightmare, it has, let's see here, skill body mind of 7, 15, and 8. So that corresponds to the skill body mind here. A skill of 7, body of 15, and mind of 8. Here we go. Alright, so that is the first step done. We have decided the basic layout of this character. And let's see here, I should fill in their special ability as well. Oh, another thing is that nightmares start with 1 soul scar, and that's generally something you do not want, because once you hit, so every time your character dies and is resurrected, you gain a soul scar, and the more soul scars you have, the closer to becoming a revenant you become. Once you hit 5 soul scars, you immediately lose your character, and your GM, Game Master, will immediately gain control over your old character as a revenant, which is something you really don't want. It becomes an enemy essentially, and you as a player would have to make a completely new character. So once again, the Nightmare gains alternate form, which allows them to ignore, let's see here. Okay, so any number of times per day with a minor action as well, or in combat preparation period, the Nightmare can instantly change into their unique alternate form. Their horns become enlarged and their skin turns pale white. In this state, they receive no penalty for using magic while wearing armor, and can cast spells without using the required verbal and somatic components, but implements and others are still required. It takes a major action, or 10 seconds, to revert to their humanoid form once transformed. Now you might think this is pretty awesome, right? They can ignore so many spellcasting requirements. However, Nightmares do have a key weakness in where they will take 2 extra points of damage from silver weapons, as well as from certain elemental attacks determined by their race of origin. So Nightmares are typically born from humans, elves, dwarves, or little drakens, which are essentially dragon people. And each of these races, which whoever they're born from, will impart upon them vulnerability to a certain element. If this Nightmare was born from a human, then they would take extra damage whenever they take earth damage. They have earth vulnerability. If they were born from an elf, then it would have vulnerability of water or ice. If they were born of a dwarf, they would have fire vulnerability, which is quite interesting because dwarves are actually naturally immune to fire. Finally, if you were a little draken, you would have wind vulnerability. So for this, I think we're gonna go with a human as their original parents. Human, which means they have earth vulnerability. Let me just zoom in here so it's a bit easier to see. There we go. Alright, next we're going to have to figure out their... Okay, so normally when you are making this character, the next thing you do is figure out what their corrections are so that you can get your final ability scores. Well, with the character building material or character building book, you actually don't do that yet. You first figure out what sort of environments you grew up in. So let's go and find that environment table. As a nightmare. So as a nightmare, there is actually quite a few points you could actually start off from. So to figure this out, there is an environment table for every single race in the character building book that is found on pages 76 to 87 of this book, and I'm currently looking at the nightmare environment table. On each of these tables, you will need to roll a d66, which means you roll 2d6s, and you take one of the dice as your ones place and the second dice as your tens place. So I'm going to roll some dice on the screen right now. The left dice is going to be the tens place and the right dice is going to be the ones place. So we got 35 there. 35. This means that this... Alright, I got adventurers is the environments that this nightmare was born within. You were born into a family of adventurers or former adventurers. Your mother probably was safe. They have no prejudice against nightmares, and you are loved and nurtured normally. They can expect a lot of support from them in the future. Okay, so this particular blurb mentioned that your mother was probably safe. They mentioned this because in childbirth, nightmares are born with their horns. And humans, elves, and dwarves all give birth in the same manner as mammals, which is can be a major point of concern for some childbirth in some villages where the parents don't have access to healing magic. And so sometimes the mother is grievously injured by the horns that the nightmare is born with. Little Draken, however, give birth with eggs, and the nightmares pop out of those eggs, which is why there is a difference where nightmares that are born from little Draken parents generally have a family that's more caretaking of them. So, we start off with environments of adventures. This is the environment that our nightmare here is going to be born into. Environments, adventures. Alright, the next thing we need to look at is let's see, is their childhood experiences. So the childhood experiences is found on page 88 to 103 of the character building book. It determines the experience of childhood, and this is when the physical body of your new character is being formed and determines your characteristics for the future. So I'm going to find that page here. Let's see. Alright, the Nightmare Childhood Experience table is on page 96. And once again, I'm going to be rolling D66. And we will also learn here what sort of ability score correction that they have. Let's see here. Alright, so once again on screen, the left dice will be the tens place and right will be with the ones. And we rolled a 21. 21. So our nightmare here, they lived as a hunter. I'm going to write that here. Childhood experience. Lived as a hunter. And there's a little note here that says that the focus is going to be on accuracy. This will be important later. So the explanation of this one is going to be to survive, you had to get your own prey from an early age. Write that in here as well. Okay, and this also gives us the ability score correction. So this will be 11, 5, 3, 4, 3, and 5. So once again, we will add these numbers across the row. So we have 7 plus 11 equals 18, 7 plus 5 equals agility. Let me get rid of those dice. 7 plus 5 equals 12. Body 15 plus 3 is 18. So once again, we have dexterity, agility, strength, vitality, intelligence, and spirits all calculated for you. And that concludes that step. Next, we get to figure out what happened in this character's childhood. Essentially, we are rolling now on the first happenings table. And before we do that, we actually get to roll the age of this character. And before we do so, I do want to point out that each of the races have a different how do I say it? Age expectancy. And in this game, all races are essentially treated as an adult at the age of 15, no matter how many years they can actually live. So first of all, let's roll and see how old our character is. They are 5 plus 6, 11. But this needs to happen when they are in childhood. So let's see here. So they need to be 8 years or younger. So this automatically calculates them as 8 years old. So the next thing we're going to roll happens when this character is at 8 years old. We can note that. 8 years old. Oops, not years, years. Alright, now let's see what happened. There is a table of happenings. So the first happenings, the results are 1 to 6. Either you go to the accidents and tragedies table, nothing of particular, or you go to the fortune and happiness table. Or I'm just going to use the dice that is on the left hand side. And that will be a 6. Go to the fortune and happiness table. Fortune and happiness table, alright? And once again, it's going to be a D66. Get that refreshed. There we go. D66, that is a 53. 53 on the fortune and happiness table. Let's see here. This character was acquainted with respectable seniors. Already, we have a very clear picture of what sort of person this nightmare is. Was acquainted with respectable seniors. Obviously, or perhaps that story that you can immediately create is that this nightmare grew up with a party of adventurers. In this party, they lived as a hunter. And they were acquainted with respectable adventurers who taught them the trade of hunting, of being adventure, and so on. Alright, that is the first happenings. Next, we're going to look on the juvenile experience table, which is located on page 104 to 105 of the character building book. It determines what kind of experiences and what kind of things were learned during childhood when the character learned various things. So let's see here, page 104. And so juvenile experiences, it actually split into multiple tables as well. The warrior, spy, and magic warrior table. Our nightmare is going to be a warrior. So that is the table that we are going to roll on. Let's see here. Juvenile experiences. Basically, this helps figure out what your subclass is going to be as well. Alright, so here we go. I'm just gonna make this new roll. And go. D66, that is right on the edge of 62. 62. Okay, this character is going to have experience of having worked in a secret laboratory. Interesting. So there was a secret hidden laboratory in your residence or a place you could visit. You learned or stole its secrets without permission to get closer to the truth of the world. Now this character is truly shaping up. Alright. So, juvenile experience, secret laboratory. Add access to 1. Alright. And this immediately gives this character the subclass of the alchemist. An alchemist is a subclass or a minor class, which means it costs 500 EX points. Next, we do need to look at what sort of evocations, or evocations are essentially the abilities that an alchemist begins with. An alchemist gains 1 evocation for each of its level. At level 1, you gain 1 evocation. Alright, evocation table. Once again, it's going to be a D66. That is a 32. A 32, okay. They gain bark mail. What is bark mail, you may ask? Well, I will tell you that. A bark mail requires... Okay, so an alchemist, to begin with, hopefully I'll create another stream another day just going over each of the different classes. However, an alchemist is very... Okay. Bottom line, the alchemist is a pay-to-win class. And what I mean by that is that all of the alchemist abilities requires money to use. You have to expend money to use your abilities. Bark mail requires specifically a green card. So there are 5 different cards for alchemists. There's white, red, gold, green, and black. So these 5 different cards allows you to use different evocations. Bark mail is uses the green card and allows you to target 1 character. It has a range of 30 meters for 1 target and it lasts for 3 minutes. And its effect is that it increases a target's defense. The target is covered with a mana-like bark to raise its defense. And now, let me explain what I mean by a pay-to-win. So there are 4 different ranks of magic cards that an alchemist can use. There's B rank, A rank, S rank, and SS rank. And the higher rank the card is, the stronger this ability's effect is. So a B rank green card used for bark mail gives +1 defense. A A rank card gives 2 defense, an S rank gives 4 defense, and an SS rank gives 8 defense for 3 minutes. And at level 1 alchemist, if you had enough money to buy an SS rank card, you can immediately, for 3 minutes, gain a bonus of 8 defense, which is huge. It's huge. But most likely you won't have access to that sort of money right off the bat. So you're most likely just going to have a B rank card that will give you 1 defense. Alright, and that is the 4th step. Yes, 4th step. Alright, next we're going to roll on the second happening table, which also lets us figure out what happens at the next stage of this character's life. So first of all, let's roll and add the 2 numbers to see how old our character is now. I'm gonna say the 5 is on the left, so 56. 5 plus 6 is 11. 11 years old, and we add that to the previously 8 years old. 8 plus 11 is 19. However, since this is at the juvenile age, the maximum age they can be is 14 years old. So immediately I'm going to set them at 14 years old. Now, what happens at 14 years old? We will now go back to the happenings table, which on page 110 of the character building book. And we're going to roll a D6. I'm going to use the left number on this roll. Oh, let that refresh. And go. And that's a 5. Second happenings on the 5. Oh my goodness. We have now rolled on the fortune and happiness table again. This nightmare had a very blessed childhood. And just for reference, for the second happening table, there are actually 4 results. There's accidents and tragedies, the love table, fortune and happiness, and then the secret background table. And once again, we rolled a 5, so we're going to go to the fortune and happiness table. On the fortune and happiness table on the same page, D66, and we're going to roll. And that is a 31. On 31, the result is blessed with friends and companionship, making the most of each day. This nightmare, contrary to most nightmares in the world of Raxia, which is the world that Sword World takes place in, had a very good childhood. And we can really see this forming right before us. We're creating character right now. Alright, at 14 years old, the next step is going to be on the adolescent experience table, which is on page 106 to 109 of the character building book. Now, this is where we need to look at what we had previously chosen under childhood experiences. So under childhood experiences, it said lived as a hunter, focus on accuracy. Now this is now going to be important because on the table for adolescent experiences, the warrior type is split into 3 different tables: focus on striking, accuracy, and durability. We rolled accuracy. So that is what we're going to roll on. It's another D6 roll. So we're going to take the left dice. And that's right on my face there. All right, so it is a 2. 2, the experience as an adolescent. Let's make a note here. Adolescent experience is, with a 2, could see the weak points. You could see the opening of your opponent. All you have to do is penetrate it. Yes. This actually is how you gain your first feat using the character building book. And in this book, it is Lethal Strike 1. Now, why is it called Lethal Strike 1? And that's because obviously there is Lethal Strike 2. How do you level it up? Well, you get that by increasing your adventure level. If you meet the requirements of the adventure level and the class, you immediately get to replace Lethal Strike 1 with Lethal Strike 2. Now, what is Lethal Strike 1? Lethal Strike 1 makes it easier to land a critical hit. Let's see here. Lethal Strike. So, let me roll over to the weapons page here. Okay, we don't actually have a weapon yet, so I'm going to say it's a practice sword or practice axe. Okay, let's say it's a practice axe. Ignoring the stance, minimum strength, and accuracy, let's just take a look at the power. Okay, that's power of 10, crit value of 10. Let's assume this, okay? It's just a practice weapon. This is probably not the correct stats. So Lethal Strike will allow you to roll a power table +1. So generally when you roll a power table, let's see here. When you roll an attack to deal damage, you roll on this power table right here. And you take a look at whatever the roll you got corresponds to. The number on the bottom line is your actual damage. The number up here is the result from the dice that you rolled. So we roll 6 + 1 is a 7. So we look at the 7 row. And now we know that it is a 3. So 3 plus the extra damage, which is 5. This character will deal 8 damage. Oh, no worries about it, Emmy. Feel free to take your time. So this character will deal 8 damage. However, if they had used Lethal Strike, they get to add a +1 to the dice result. So this 6 + 1, because 6 + 1 + 1. So that becomes an 8. It moves up to the 8 column here. Now, why is this ability good? It's because if you had actually rolled a 9 here, it would bump it up into a 10. And when you roll a 10, that is equal to your crit value right here on the right. And that allows you to roll on the power table again. So how crit work in this game is that you keep on rolling your power table until you do not have any more, until you don't activate any more crits. So let's roll another dice again, okay? And let us assume, we don't need to assume because I rolled an 11. And if we had used Lethal Strike, this 11, this result of 11 becomes a result of 12 instead. And then we roll again. We take this number, this 7 here, we take that number and remember it. And we're going to roll on the power table again, okay? So, let us refresh and roll again. So this time is a result of 5 + 3. 5 + 3 is 8. Note that you cannot use combat ability, or sorry, a combat feat multiple times in a single turn unless you have a very specific feat called Battle Master, which allows you to ignore that rule. So we look at the result of 5 plus 3, 8, which is 4. We add the 7 that we had previously rolled. 7, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 7 plus 4 is 11. And then we add the extra damage of 5 from the strength and the fighter class. So now this character just dealt 16? Yes. What? 7 plus 4 plus 5. Yes, 16 damage on their critical hits. If this second roll had been another 10 or higher, we would have kept rolling on this power table until we did not roll a 10 or higher. So that is the strength of Lethal Strike. Alright, Nightmares also learn Trade Common to start off. And what other languages do they have? Just give me a moment as I look it up. Nightmares. Nightmare, where are you? They have the same starting languages as the race they are born to. So basically, they're going to get Trade Common and a Regional. Regional is basically like a local dialect. It's difficult to explain from an English perspective, but let's say, for example, you have a Scottish versus Irish accent versus a London accent, or you're born in America or something. Different types of English. So that is kind of the closest example I would have to this sort of situation. Alright, so, and that is the result of our adolescent experience. The next step is going to be either we can move on to the third happenings, which means we're going to age up our character past the past adolescent years, which is 15 years old. If we wanted to start off our character onto the next adventure, then we can do that right now. If we wanted to make this character older, then we can actually roll on the happenings table for the third happenings. But for brevity, I'm going to move on to the why I went onto adventure table on page 111 of the character building book. Alright, so why did our character go on adventure? We're going to roll another D66. And it will be, once again, 5 on the left, 56. Why did our character go on an adventure? And the result was to gain fame. Let's write that in. Why I went on an adventure. To gain fame. Alright, and we should actually find a name for this character. Let's look up the random name generator, which does exist in the character building book. Very useful book. And that is found on page 120 of this book. Alright, it's going to be another D66. Alright, and that is going to be a 14. 14 name is going to be Elliot's Earhearts. Alright, Elliot's Earhearts. And let's see here. Let's fix that so it's easier to see. They are male, since that's the character image that we are using, as you can see on here. Right here, you can see the character. And then, how old are they when they went on this adventure? Let's roll again. At the adolescent age. Wait a minute, did I skip a step? Oh, no, I didn't. Alright. What age did they go out? 3, 4, 5. So 14 plus 5. They went out on their adventure at 14 plus 5 is 19. So our character is 19 years old. 19. Oops. Alright, there we go. And then finally, we need to figure out what sort of equipment that this character has. So the book, character building book, actually has a suggested equipment by type on page, let's see here, 112 of the character building book. And as a warrior, we need to first look at what our strength is. So our character strength here is 18. We're going to look for something that we can equip up to a strength of 18 or less. And it just so happens that there is an option here. Let's see, we can choose from a standard equipment loadouts, low cost, power, accuracy, or durability. Now our character here is already going to be working with lethal strike since they work as a hunter. They have a focus on accuracy. So let's make sure that this character will land their attacks quite often. The suggested loadout for an accurate warrior type with a strength of at least 17. That's what we're going to roll here. On the right, oops. Get rid of this practice axe. And they get to start off with a heavy mace. Unfortunately, we didn't get the axe. Heavy mace, and for armor, it's going to be leather armor or hard leather. And a round shield. They're going to have an adventure set, and they're also going to have a single awake potion. Awake potions are essentially how you revive an ally character. And the amount of money left over is 230 gold. Alright, now let's figure out what the stats for these equipments are. Heavy mace. Heavy mace. Let's see here. Can be used with 2 hands or 1 hand. So 1 hand, oops, 1 hand or 2-handed. And the minimum strength required is 15. And maces actually have an accuracy bonus of +1. The power of a mace with 1-handed is 20, whereas with 2-handed it's 30. The critical value is 12. This is unfortunate because to get a crit with this weapon, a critical hit with this weapon, to deal critical damage, you would need to roll a 12 or higher. Normally that would be very difficult to roll, but because this character has lethal strike, that increases the chance of getting a crit by 1 step. So instead of needing to roll a 12 for a critical value, you only need 11 plus 1 from lethal strike. I'm going to use fighter for this ability. And next we need to figure out the, let's see here, the defense of these items. Non-metallic armor. Hard leather has a minimum strength requirement of 13 and gives you 4 defense. And then let's see here, the shields. Shield, a round shield, 1-handed, requires 8 strength and gives you 1 defense. And with that, we have now completed our first character of the party. So, what is the character that we have? So, our character's name is Elliot. Elliot was born on the road. Let's gonna say he's going to be born on the road between a party of adventurers. Since he was born from a human family, that means that most likely there was a priest nearby. So let's say that in that part of adventures, his father was a priest, okay? His father was a priest. So his mother was healed after a difficult childbirth due to Elliot's horns. While on the road, he was raised to help with various tasks such as hunting for animals for dinner, for meals essentially. His mother was an alchemist by trade and also taught Elliot much of what he needed to learn to work as an alchemist, while his father taught him how to use a mace. Yeah, perhaps his father was actually a paladin, and that's why he used a mace as well. And a paladin in Sword World is essentially just a combination of a fighter and a priest class. Let's see here. While training, Elliot's father realized that Elliot's could often seek out the weak points of his targets very naturally. Eventually, Elliot became talented that he decided to strike out on his own and find his own adventuring party. And to gain fame. Perhaps his parents are also famous. And that is the history that we have for Elliot. And that is our man right here. Elliot Earhart's. Elliot Earhart's 19 years old nightmare. Adventure level 2. His classes are Fighter 2 and Alchemist 1. He has 500 EXP left. So let's give him a subclass as well. I'm going to give him a Ranger, okay? The reason why I'm giving him Ranger is because he lived outdoors all his life. And he was on the road quite a lot. So I'm going to give him Ranger just to help else. Ranger is a minor class which only requires 500 EXP. And will give him some bonuses to his proficiency in technique, movement, and observation. And it also makes him good at using herbs and potions. He gets a proficiency bonus when using those two items. Stats, let's see here, finalized at Dexterity 3, Agility 2, Strength 3, Vitality 3, Intelligence 1, Spirit 2. He has HP 25, 13 MP. He doesn't really use much MP. Alright, alchemists actually don't use MP. They require money. And here we go. We have our first character of the party. Elliot Earhart. Alright. I'll be saving this character sheet and I'll be adding it into links below this video after we are done. So what's our next step here? We're going to make our next character. So I think what Elliot needs now is somebody to back him up magically. So let's get rid of Elliot here and we're going to go and make our new character. This time we are going to make a sorcerer. Let's see here. Where is our sorcerer friend? Alright, once again, where are the stats? It's just a moment as I take a picture here. And then I'll bring it in here. Alright, the sorcerer class. Our sorcerer here. There we go. Sorcerer class. As you can see, is heavily skewed away from melee power, which is the exact opposite of Elliot, our friend. They have some magic supports, but a sorcerer is pretty much like a wizard or sorcerer in 5th edition. They specialize in ranged abilities, magic power, and very much in that one direction. So the primary class is a major sorcerer. Let's see here. Sorcerer. Oh, Let's refresh this. Once again, I need to give myself access. Access. And save that, and let's refresh this page. All right, there we go. Sorcerer. Level 2, that is a major class, so we have 1000 EXP left. Alright, so what should we choose? Oh wait, they also learn to read and write in Arcana. Arcana is a spell language, read and write. Alright, so what should we choose for the race? It could be a human, an elf, a Tabbit, nightmare, runefolk, Meria, or leprechaun. Well, I don't really want to build a human or elf. We already built that last time, and we just built a nightmare. I want to build a Tabbit. Now, what are Tabbits? Well, let me show you. A Tabbit is essentially a little rabbit person. The little friend right here is a Tabbit. Tabbits are very, very effective spellcasters. They're very good at casting spells, but their physical abilities could use improvements. So let's take a look at the layouts of their stats. Their base ability scores for Tabbit is 5, 7, and 10. Alright, and note stats in Sword World, you can cast all the spells up to your class level. So this means that this Tabbit can cast any sorcerer spell up to level 2. Alright, we are now done with this image. Alright, now we go back to the top of this character sheet. Right, we need to figure out what sort of let's see here. Languages. Tabbits. At the beginning, they gain access to trade, common language, and they can also read Ancient Celestial. Ancient Celestial is an ancient language. Nobody can speak it anymore, but it is often found in ruins. And their special ability, let me just zoom in here. The special ability of Tabbits is Sixth Sense. What is Sixth Sense? It is the ability to sense danger. Tabbits may make a danger sense check using their adventure level plus intelligence modifier. So that means that they add adventure level 2 plus their intelligence, which is whatever this is going to be, to their 2d6. Normally, a danger sense is rolled, what was it, by... Where did I... Just a moment. Alright, I'm back. I just need to grab a little cheat sheet I have of it's my GM screen. Let's see, Danger Sense. Normally, Danger Sense requires a Scout or Ranger class. If you do not have the Scout or Ranger class, that means that if you want to roll a Danger Sense, you roll a straight 2d6. But this Tabbits in general, they don't need the Scout or Ranger class to use Danger Sense. As long as they have an adventure level and a good intelligence modifier, there is no problem at all. Alright, so our first step here is to roll on the Tabbit's environment table. Let's see here, what is our Tabbit's environment? Actually, let's come up with a name first. I want to figure out what this name is, so it'll be easier to refer to this Tabbits. Tabbits, alright, it's a D66, 13. Warren. So Tabbits actually, humans, Tabbits, runefolks, Lycants, Lildraken, and Grassrunners all roll on the same name table. Let's see here. Let's make this male Tabbits. Their name is going to be Warren. Warren is our friend's name. Male. Alright. Now, the environment table for Tabbits. Environment table for Tabbits is on page 79. once again, it's going to be another D66. So let us see what sort of result we get. That is a 46. What is the result for 46? Let's see here. Environments. 46 picked up by other races. What does this mean? Shortly after your birth, Warren was picked up and fostered by another race. This may have delayed your learning of magic, or conversely, may have significantly enhanced your talents. It's interesting enough for me to just copy it into here. There we go. Alright, so that is the environment that our Tabbit friend Warren grew up in. Next, we'll need to roll on their childhood experiences. Childhood experiences as a Tabbit. Let's see here. Tabbits actually have a life expectancy of 50 years. So whatever I roll might have to be reduced by half. 50%. So let's see. First, how old are they? 3 plus 1 is 4 years old. We can keep that because of the childhood for a Tabbit is 4 years or younger. At 4 years old childhood. Alright, now we need to roll a D66 to see what sort of childhood experience our Tabbit friend Warren had, and it will also decide their ability score correction. 52. Let's see, 52 here is Wizard's Apprentice. Apprentice. Oops, let me delete those quotes. Wizard's Apprentice. Pure wizardry. As a wizard's apprentice, you spent your days buried in books. Quite common for Tabbits. And their stat array, oh my goodness. It is 1, 1, 1, 4, 17, and 10. So yeah, remember what I said about Tabbits being highly invested in being spellcasters, but needing some improvement in everything else? This is what I meant. We have pitifully low score corrections for just about everything here, except for their mind stats, their intelligence and spirit. Start with 6, 6, 8, 11 for their first physical stats, but their intelligence stats is whopping 27 for 4 ability score modifier and a 20 for their spirit modifier, which means they're going to have quite a healthy amount of MP. Right now they already have 26. Alright then. Let's see what we have next. Next we get to figure out what happens, the first happenings. And that is going to be on page 110. Alright, page 110. First happenings, we're going to take just a d6, the left dice. That is hard to tell. Let that refresh and roll again. 3. Nothing in particular happened. Alright, that's not quite so interesting, but right. At 4 years on, nothing particular happened. Nothing particular, yeah, happened. Alright, a peaceful childhood. I mean, Warren was kind of cloistered away, just studying, so I suppose it's pretty natural that nothing happened. Alright, next we get to figure out what their juvenile experience was. Juvenile experience for Tabbits. Juvenile. This will be on the remote support table, which is what the magic class is considered. Alright, so we are going to roll another D66. That is hard to tell. So I'm going to re-roll that. And that is a 42. Alright, what do we have for 42? 42, nature was Warren's teacher. Juvenile experience. Nature was a teacher. So what does this mean? They gain the Ranger class. Which costs 500 EXP. When you were in nature, when Warren was in nature, he had many magical inspirations. Your teacher was nature, and the sky was your classroom. Huh. That's actually contrary to what we had originally decided for Warren. But I'm confident that we can still figure out a very good history for this. In fact, something has already come to my mind. But let's now move on. Oh, I forgot to roll their age. Great, we'll do that on this next step right here. Their second happening. What happened during the second happening? 4 plus 1 is 5. So 5 plus their childhood age, which is 4, at 9 years of age, we're going to need to divide this number that I just rolled by 2 because the juvenile age for Tabbits is actually between 5 to 8. So rounding down is 4 plus 4. So 4 divided by 2 is 6 plus 4. No, 4 divided by 2 is 2 plus 4 is 6. So juvenile experience happened when they were at 6 years old. What is the next thing that happens on the happenings table? Alright, second happening table. There are 4 results. Let's get something good. That is a 3. That's a d6. 3 goes to the love table. Alright, love table it is. So what do we have on a d66? 61. 61. The results is has a fiance. This is an interesting character that we already have. Somehow this Tabbit, cloistered away studying as a wizard, has a fiance at 6 years of age. Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting story to write out after this. I actually have quite a few ideas already. Alright, the final thing is going to be on the adolescent table. Experience. Adolescent page on 106 area. Sorcerer. Adolescent experiences as a sorcerer. There's actually only 2 results here. It's D6. I rolled a 4. Can trace spells is the experience. Let's see here. Actually, both results are exactly the same, and there's a very good reason for that. It's just that the flavor text is different. The flavor text is different. And this gives them their first feat, which is targeting. The explanation for this. One day, you understood with your senses how the spell should fly precisely to the targets. You can't explain it, but you never miss your target. So why is targeting important? That is because you don't want to accidentally perform friendly fire on an ally. When you use a shot type magic spell, for example, you shoot a firebolt, okay? Or a fireball, whatever. No, not a fireball. Firebolt. Basically, it targets one character and shoots a magic effect from your character to a target. If that target is currently in a melee or a skirmish, as this game would call it, in a skirmish, it means that these two participants are moving back and forth aggressively. They're like jumping back, moving forth here and there, and you can't easily see where they are. Targeting allows you to keep your eye on your target and not accidentally hits your ally, because if you did not have targeting and you shot this firebolts, you roll to see who you hit randomly. So if there are 5 targets in the skirmish, okay, 3 of them are allies and 2 are enemies, you roll a 1d5 if you are playing on a virtual tabletop. You roll a 1d5. Whatever you rolled is the person who you hit. So you might just happen to go through entire combats only hitting your allies by accidents, which is why you need targeting, so you can ignore this. You can immediately target only who you want to target, and you won't accidentally hit the wrong person. Alright, so they gain targeting at level 1. And now we move on to why I went onto an adventure. Why did Warren go on an adventure? Actually, we need to figure out how old he is, right? Adolescence. Alright. Roll 2d6 and add them together. 10. We're going to need to divide that by half into 5. So 5 plus their previous age of 6, so they are now 11 years old? Is that correct? Yeah, adolescent age is 10 years for a Tabbit. They're considered adult at 10 years, so 11 years old. Years old. Went on an adventure. And why is that? So let us roll a d66. Make that refresh. There we go. 43. 43. Why did they go on an adventure? Because it turned out that way. So our Tabbit friend here, Warren, is 11-year-old Tabbits. And he went on an adventure because it just so happened to turn out that way. Alright, before I wrap up their history, let us go and see how they are now fully equipped. Alright, equipment by type. Let's see, for a sorcerer, they are required to purchase magical implements. We have that in the right hand, magical implements. And that costs 200. And they're also going to gain a magic herb as well. So that is something that a sorcerer requires to get started, per se. Next, let's see here. What is his minimum strength? What is Warren's minimum strength? His minimum strength is 8. Which means he can equip... minimum strength of 8. Perfect, here we go. We have an option. He has, for armor... Let me just roll the screen over. Soft leather. A round shield. No weapons. Doesn't get any weapons to start. And they have an adventurer set. They also have an awake potion. So this would leave them with 750 gold. And they also spent 200 gold, so that leaves them with 550 gold. Alright. Alright, as a spellcaster, they should get something to defend themselves, actually. So I am actually going to help them purchase something. Let's see here. Let's get them a stave. I'm sure they could do with, let's see here, a quarterstaff or a mage staff. So, let's give them a quarterstaff. Mage staff is if you have very little strength. In fact, you don't really need much strength at all. It only requires minimum strength of 1. Oh, let me get rid of those dice. But a quarterstaff, they both do pretty much the same thing, except a quarterstaff is slightly stronger. So quarterstaff. Stats is 2-handed. Oh. This is why. So a round shield, to equip the shield, it requires 1 arm free, and a round shield of let's see here, only gives you 1 defense. Requires 8s. Quarterstaff is also 2-handed, and it actually does the exact same thing. Let's see here. Minimum strength of 4 plus 1 accuracy. Power is 14, and its crit value is 12. And there is actually no class that they can use to add. They'd have no proficiency bonus in accuracy or damage. Let's see here. So in this case, quarterstaff has an extra effect of +1 defense. But here's the problem: you can this Tabbit can either hold a round shield and their magical implements in one hand, or they can use the quarterstaff as implements by making it one. Actually, no, staff automatically are castable, I think. But to gain the bonus of +1 defense, you can't equip the round shield. So either you have the round shield and a free hand with the magical implements and you gain a +1 defense, or you have your quarterstaff as your magical implements and you gain a +1 defense. So technically, when it comes to defense, there is no difference. It's just whether you have a free hand or not, and whether you have a weapon you can use to smack someone in case of danger. And in case of danger, if somebody were to get in close to this Tabbit Warren, then they would have a very difficulty hitting, because their accuracy bonus of 1 add to 5 plus 3, 2d6 plus 1. It's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's only 9 to hit, which is you may or may not hit. Most likely not. It's better that Warren just stays out of combat. Anyways, but I'll still have him keep that 140. So 550 minus 140, 410. All right. Now let us finalize Warren's story. All right. Originally, I had considered making Warren picked up by another race, who would then teach Warren the ABCs of magic. However, I now have a different idea. Instead of being raised by another race, they are raised by nature themselves. So, Warren was separated from his parents soon after he was born. He was left within a magical forest and was taken care of by the creatures there and magical plants. Because of this, Warren grew up highly attuned to magic, and the forest was happy to teach him as well. But as Warren grew older, the plants around him wanted his happiness and decided to pair him up with a fiancé at an early age. Let's see here. Arranged marriage, huh? I suppose the plants would really understand the concept all too well. When Warren became an adult at 11, he decided, no, he didn't decide. I'm gonna say that he was sent out. No, he wasn't sent out. He happened to become an adventurer. And I have a perfect segue into our next character. Alright, so that is Warren, our Tabbit adventurer, who has very low physical stats. They're all a +1 modifier, but very high intelligence spirits. Their classes are Sorcerer 2, Ranger 1. Their feat is Targeting. They gain all the spells for Sorcerer up to level 2. 2 True Speech Magic. Let's see here. They can speak a variety of languages. They don't need those resources. They have a magical implements. They can use either quarterstaff or a round shield. Oh, soft leather. I need to find else that. Soft leather, minimum strength requirement of 7, and gives 3 defense. Oh, thank goodness. At least Warren now has 4 defense if he were to take damage. Magic power is 6, so whenever he rolls a spellcasting check, he adds a 6. Whenever he deals magic damage, he adds 6. He has 17 HP and 26 MP. Fortitude of 3, willpower 5. 410 gold left. He has 1 magic herb and 1 awake potion. Magic herbs are essentially like healing potions, but they can only be used outside of combats. Alright, and that is our friend Warren. Once again, I will be saving this character and I will be putting up in the link in the description below after I finish this video. Alright, our next character. And I said that we had a perfect segue into this. So I think this character, this party, we have a sorcerer, we have a fighter. I think we need a priest, a healer now. Let's see here, priest. Priest. Just copy this section here. Oops. Copy this here. And then I will slide this image right over here. Alright, this is the array of a priest class. You can see that they have low melee power. They have decent defense. They have some ranged power, but they are specialized for healing magic and magic supports. Now this is just, of course, just starting off the bats. If you only gain levels in priest. If you are to add in additional classes, then this will change your starting stat array. Anyways, so with a priest, we're going to start off by refreshing this page so I can actually edit it. Alright, let's zoom in here, 200%. We're going to start off with a priest class. Level 2, priest is a major class. All magic classes are a major class, and that means we have 1000 EXP left. We already built a human, an elf, and a dwarf. Well, maybe not an elf. Well, not a human, but there are videos on how to make a human already. So elf and dwarf already made. We've already made a nightmare. Let us build a Meria. What is a Meria? Well. I said earlier that we had a perfect segue into this character. And a Meria. Where are they? Here we go. A Meria is this cute lady right here. Merias are essentially plant people. And their special ability is that they are very attuned to nature. Now let's see here. Meria, their special ability is thriving life because they are essentially a plant turned to a human. There's 2 types of Merias in Raxia. There is the short-lived type and the long-lived type. Long-lived types of Meria live They become an infants in about a year and reach maturity at 20 years of age, and they live for about 300 years. A short-lived species, however, they take the form of an infant a week after a seed has been planted in fertile soil and reach adulthood in 6 months. Short-lived species live for only 10 years. Only 10 years. A very short but vibrant life. And Merias have flowers and blossoms blooming from prominent places such as their head or on the shoulders and wrists, anywhere upon their body that you might think of. Somewhere that's very prominent, very easily found and seen. And I feel like this character is going to be the perfect companion to Warren, our friend, the Tabbits. Because we're going to make this Meria Warren's fiancé. Alright, let's pull you in there. And let us find out what your name is, Meria. Merias have their own special table name, very similar to elves. Let's see, D66 of 25. Your name is Sorcerer? Oh. Sorcerer. Female. Racial ability, thriving life. What is thriving life? Thriving life. Meria do not need to sleep. At the beginning of the day, 6 a.m., their HP automatically recovers by 20% of its maximum value, rounded up to the nearest whole number, and their MP recovers to its maximum value. Merias can sleep if they so choose, however, they do not recover HP or MP from it. Okay, so in Sword World, whenever you take a short rest, you recover 10% of your maximum HP and half of your maximum MP. If you have a full rest, you will recover 20% of your maximum value and all your MP. In other words, the Meria will gain all the benefits of a full rest at the beginning of the day at 6 a.m. They don't need to sleep to do that. They just automatically gain that amount of benefits. However, on the flip side, this means that if they were to take a short rest earlier in the day, they would not benefit from it. They don't gain any benefits of short rest or a natural full rest if they were to do so. The only way for them to naturally recover HP or MP is time-based. It has to be 6 a.m. So that is the pros and cons of playing a Meria. Alright, so we have our Meria. Let's figure out what sort of environments they grew up in. Let's see here. Meria's environment table is on page 85 of the character building book. Let us once again roll a D66. That is a 65. Huh. They were born on a ship. Environments. Born on a ship or wandering, actually. Let's make them wandering. Born wandering. Oh, I see, never mind. Sorry. Here's the blurb. You were born among the ship's cargo. You grew up on the ship and traveled from place to place. Quotes. I want to know the land too. I'm gonna change the ship to born on a wagon. You were born among a wagon's cargo. You grew up on the wagon and traveled from place to place. So that is going to be the environments that Sorcerer, our Meria friend, was born into. Next, our childhood experiences. Childhood experiences for the Meria is on page 101. Now, I haven't quite decided whether I'm going to make this a short-lived or long-lived Meria yet, but I am actually leaning towards short-lived. And there's a reason for this. And it has to do with the Tabbits. I think that it would be really interesting because our Tabbit friend, Warren, he grew up and he just wanted to study magic. That's all he wanted to do. But here comes Meria, Sorcerer, who he entered into an arranged marriage by his parents' plant magical forest family into. And Sorcerer just so happens to have a short-lived life. And with this short-lived life, then she's only going to live for at most maybe 10 years. So now Warren, he sees this and says, okay, let's go see the world. I'll come with you. And that is the circumstances that brought him to become an adventurer with Sorcerer. Immediately, I've got the story in my head for these adventures. This is great. This is great. Okay, childhood for Meria that is short-lived is 1 month or younger. That is how early they become infants. Alright, so that is going to be 4 plus 1 divided by 10. What is that? 5 divided by 10. 0.5. What does that mean? How do I calculate that? 5 divided by 10. 0.5. Let's just say that it is 1 month, okay? Because they're 1 month and younger. 1 month. 1 month. Childhood experiences. Alright, as a priest, which is considered a remote support. D66. That is 11. Oh, almost a 51 there. 11. Hunting was a way of life. Childhood. Hunting was a way of life. Focus on accuracy. He lived by hunting insects and small animals in the forest. And the quote is, I would eat anything. Already have an image of Sorcerer. I have a very clear image of what sort of person she is. And this would also delete the stat array. Oh shoot, I forgot to copy down what the priest basic stat array is. Let me just slide that in real quick. Meria 8, 8, and 13. Okay, so focus on accuracy. Hunting was a way of life. Alright, their stat array correction is 6, 1, 5, 14, 2, and 2. Okay. Here we go. We have a clear idea of what they are like now. Next, we roll on the first happenings. 1 month, first happening. You notice that I actually kind of mix up where I roll the age, and honestly, as long as you get it within the childhood or first happenings, I think it's fine. It's fine. The first happenings happens in childhood, and then you roll the age for that. Alright, first happenings, page 110 of the character building book. Let's roll a d6. On the left dice, that is a 1. Accidents and tragedies. Alright, let's see. It's now a d66. 46. 46. Drifted out to sea? Oh my goodness. I guess they did get born on a ship then. Born on a ship. Drifted out to sea. Okay. That goes contrary to what the original expectation I had was. But we can work with this. We can still work with this. Alright, that was their first happenings. Next, we need to figure out what their juvenile experience was. And this, I believe, will give us our first feats. Juvenile experience. Where are we? Alright, so let's see here. D66. That is a 45. 45. Long for pseudo life. What does this mean? Okay, juvenile experience. Long for pseudo life. This gives them the subclass or secondary class of Conjurer, which is a major class, which costs 1000 EXP. Long for pseudo life. You developed an indescribable interest in golems, undead, and other pseudo-alive things. This has greatly broadened the scope of your magic. So, conjurers eventually learn how to summon golems, or raise the dead, or creates animated objects. That is one of their abilities. They also have a lot of buffing spells. Priests similarly also have a lot of buffing spells, but they can also heal quite early on, whereas conjurers take a bit of time before they get any healing spells. Alright, so that is their juvenile experience. So let us now go to second happening. Second happening is at, I need to roll an age again. That is 4 plus 1, 5, divide by 2, or divide by 10. 0.5. Juvenile age is 2 to 5 months. So I'm just gonna make this at 2 months. 2 months. No, how do I calculate this? Let's go straight into the center. 2 to 5 months. Let's say 3.5 months. So 3 months. Let's see here. What happened here at this time? Second happening table. Once again, roll a d6. That is a 3. Excuse me, I just drank some water there. Roll on the love table. We've got it going. 11. Aha! Timid in love. Perfect. This is perfect. We've got a relationship going within our party already. Timid in love. How sweet. How sweet. We've got our Tabbit friend who just wanted to stay indoors all day, learn spells, but he decided to take his fiancée, Sorcerer, out onto the road. Because Sorcerer loved to travel, but had a hard time telling Warren that this is what she truly wanted. So Warren decided, let's go on an adventure. And he took her out to go on the road with her. Oh, we've got it. We've got something going on here. Alright. Adolescence. Happening. Adolescent experience. Oh, what is going on here? Bonk that. Get rid of that. We don't need bots here. The only bots we need is a dice bot. All right, back to what we're doing. Adolescence experience. Adolescent experience. This is how we're going to get their final feats. Let's see here. Sorcerer, priest table. Priest table, there is only actually just 2 options. Pretty straightforward. Let's see. 4. It's a d6, so it's a 4. Oh, where did my dock go? Alright. Training and perseverance. Training and perseverance. Slowly and steadily, you increase the number of targets to which you cast your magic by 2 or 3. The technique saved importance. Save people of importance to you. And that is going to be the feat of meta magic targets. So what is meta magic targets? That is a feat that allows you to target multiple people, multiple targets with a single target spell. Let's say you have a healing spell from your priest and you are casting it on one of your allies. If you use meta magic targets, you can target an additional person, so now you're targeting 2 people. However, you do have to expend additional MP for every additional target that you make. So let's say that healing costs, I don't know, 3 MP. You target a second person, now that spell is going to cost you 6 MP. However, on the flip side, you do get to heal 2 people at the same time on 1 turn, instead of having to heal them on a second turn. Let's see here, and let's see. Right. Meria, what languages do they speak? Speak in Sylvan and read and write trade common. There we go. They have all the spells of priest up to level 2 and conjurer up to level 1. Oh, but priests also need to choose a god by which they believe in. So let me just quickly pick one real quick. If I can just find it. Let's see here. Let us make them Let us make them a follower of Dalian, the god of trees. Dalian, I chose god of trees because, as you can see, god of trees, very nature themed. God, I don't actually know the exact details. I just looked at the name and the abilities, which is to create a forest path where a character would gain additional MP while they're in natural environments and at high level binding thorns. I thought that would seem accurate for this character here. So with Meria, it's Dalian's god of trees. Now let us take a look at what else they need, which is going to be their equipments. Oh wait, no. I haven't finished their history yet. I need to find out why they went on the road for adventure. 16. What is 16 for why you went on an adventure? 16. You couldn't stay in your hometown. You went on an adventure. You couldn't stay in your hometown. And how old were you when you went on that adventure? So we were at 3 months. Adolescence 6. So 3. 6 months 3 plus 3, exactly 6 months. Perfect. Six months. Adults. So this Meria, who are short-lived, they are adults at 6 years of life. So they physically and mentally mature to the equivalent. This dice is on my face. Merias physically and mentally mature very quickly if they are short-lived, up to equivalent to an adults at 6 months. Okay, and now we need to figure out what sort of equipments they have. Equipments for a starting character. Meria, who is a priest. A priest requires a holy symbol to start off. So we're going to start off with and give them that automatically first. We're going to equip it around their neck. Holy symbol. That is their required item to cast a spell, a holy symbol, and when they get a bonus magic herb, and that will cost them 200 gold. Now let's figure out what equipments they have. Let's see here. What's their strength? So Cersa's strength is 13. So they're pretty much going to be equipped very similarly to Warren, actually. Spellcasters actually don't have that much of a variety for equipments here. So soft leather. A shield is a round shield. And they have adventurous sets. And they also have an awake potion. So that means they also have 550 gold left. And I'm just going to copy what we got earlier. Soft leather is 7.3. And the shield is 8.1. And for their equipments, let's give them the same thing. Let's also make them quarterstaff. This is just a backup weapon. It's not something they're going to equip regularly. Minimum strength. Minimum strength of 4. Accuracy plus 1. Power is 14. And the crit value is 12. There is no bonus class that they can add, so it is a straight roll of 2d6 plus 1 accuracy. Damage will be straight, whatever they roll on this power table. That'll be additional cost of minus 200. Sorry, 140. So that's another 410 gold left. And you can see that they have 2 different magic power listings. What this means is that when you cast a spell of the priest class, you use this 4. So spellcasting modifier. When you roll for spellcasting, you roll 2d6 plus 4 when you use a priest spell. But if you use the conjurer class, you roll a 2d6 plus 3. How these numbers are found? Well, you take your intelligence and then you add your spellcasting class level. So the priest is level 2 plus intelligence 2 equals 4. But the conjurer is class level 1 plus 2 intelligence equals 3. Now, remember how I said that Meria don't gain the benefits of what was it? Of a short rest or full rest that easily? The only way they recover is from the clock naturally hitting 6 AM. Because of that, Meria generally have high HP and have higher MP as well. Not normally. As you can see, their vitality is quite high here. Spirit is decent, I guess. And because they have 2 magic classes, those are both calculated into their MP as well. And with that, we are done. So let us write Sorcerer's history. All right. How do I spell her name again? Sorcerer. Sorcerer was born in pots on a ship. However, the ship went through a storm, and so Sorcerer's pots was thrown overboard. She spent a few days drifting on the open seas, hunting for fish and small sea life on the surface of the ocean to survive. Now, this is actually really difficult for her because she's in a pot and the ocean is salt water. So you can imagine how difficult this life was for Sorcerer. And this actually ties in to her longing for pseudo life because she spent days alone at sea with no one to talk to. The only people around her, the only people nearby, there was no people nearby because all she had was fish and small sea life in the area around her. There was no one for her to talk to, so no wonder she longed for a friend. She wants to find a friend. That's why she became a conjurer. That's why she longed for pseudo life. That's why she wants to have a golem or animated object. She's not going to go for undead. Undead are bad things in the world of Apraxia, but she wanted a friend. That's why she became a conjurer. That's why she learned it. She longed to make friends while she was alone on the open seas. Eventually, she drifted to shore near a magical forest and was brought into their fold and was happy. She was happy to find family and to make sure that she would never be alone again. The magical forest paired her up with Warren, the Tabbits, who lived there as a couple. Let's see here. Warren. Oh no, we got there too early. She drifted. She was happy to. Okay, she alone on the sea. She longed to make friends on the open seas. But she persevered, and eventually, there we go. She persevered on her own. See, training and perseverance. She trained and learned how to do everything on her own. She persevered in her difficult state, and eventually she drifted to shore near a magical forest and was brought into their fold. She was happy to find family there and to make sure that she would never be alone again. The magical forest arranged a marriage for her and paired her up with Warren, the Tabbit, who lived there. However, she couldn't stay in the magical forest because she wanted to see the world outside after seeing oceans for so many months of her life. I mean, she's been living on the oceans for just about more than half her life. Warren decided to take her out into the world on an adventure so that she could see many things. Perfect. We have a connection between Sorcerer and Warren. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to edit Warren's history to include Sorcerer. And because say that person was Sorcerer, who drifted to shore by the magical forest he lived in because he wanted to show Sorcerer the world outside that she had never seen, having drifted lost in the oceans for most of her life. Perfect. Let's see here. All right, we have our third member of the party. That is Sorcerer, the Meria. Can't see the 6 month there. Whatever. All right, Sorcerer, who is a short-lived Meria. Let's see here. She has 14, 2 modifier for Dex mod, 1 agility mod, strength is 2, vitality is 3, intelligence 2, spirit is 2, priest 2, conjurer 1. Meta magic targets is the feat that she has. She's equipped with a quarterstaff for self-defense, plus 1 defense in case it's ever needed. And holy symbol, so she has soft leather and round shield. And there we go. We have our third character of our adventuring party. All right, so we now have, let's see here. We have a priest conjurer support. We have a sorcerer Tabbit with ranger. And we have our warrior nightmare Elliot Earharts, who's a fighter alchemist ranger. Our final party member. We need another person up front. I think we may need a scout. Someone to provide some frontline supports. We've got enough magic now. We don't need any more magic. So let us find someone who is an agile warrior. A sorter type. Sorter type, let's see here. Oops. Need to copy that so I can put it up on screen. A sorcerer type. Here we go. Sorcerer type. Their melee and defense power is kind of okay. Not here, it's here and there, but they are more of a support role in the searching abilities. They have very little magic support, but they got some healing power and range power. So this is once again just starting out the gate. It changes depending on how we look at this character afterwards and what sort of classes they learn afterwards. So, I had actually originally planned on making something else, but due to how we have rolled so far, I think it is safe to go with this creature or this character instead. Let me just make a quick change here. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Something got in my throat there. Okay, so what do we have? Minor, it's a fencer class at level 2. Sorry, I need to mute again. I need to cough. Alright, I'm back. Okay. So, Fencer level 2. That means... So, a Fencer, since it's minor class, only costs 500 EXP at first level, and at second level, it costs 1000 EXP. So now, this character has 1500 EXP left. Let's see here. Oh, Emmy, thank you, thank you. Don't worry about it if it's getting too late for you. Thank you. I'll check it out on Twitter afterwards. Yeah, I look forward to seeing it and have a great night and day. Okay, take care, Emmy. All right, here. We've already built a human. We don't need to build a human. We've already built an elf, and we have also already lichens, we're runefolk. I don't think we need that. I think we need to build a Grassrunner. So Grassrunners are essentially like Sword World's version of 5th edition's hobbits, but they come with a few caveats. Let's see here. Oh, before we do anything, let us enter Grassrunner here. And Grassrunner here for Agile Warrior is a background. Agile Warrior, and then let's see here. Stats array is 14, 1, and 10. So fencers in Sword World are completely hid those stats, sorry. So fencers in general are very how do I say it? They're essentially like the rogue class in 5th edition. They have high single target damage attack potential, and they have a higher chance of dealing critical hits, but they don't have very good defense, so they're more of a dodging character. In a nutshell, that's generally how it is. Alright, so let us figure out what the name of our Grassrunner Fencer is. Let's see here, random name generator, Grassrunner. It is a D66. 45. 45. Alright, before we move on, let us figure out, give them a face. Let's give our character a face. Right. I'm gonna make this character a female Grassrunner. Character name is going to be where is that table? What was I looking at again? Grassrunners. Grassrunner at 45, it is Hannah. Hannah Norton. Female. And Hannah, as a Grassrunner, learns to speak Grassrunner, read and write Grassrunner, and trade common. Special abilities. So the unique thing about Grassrunners in this, right, I forgot I was going to put a character up, an image art. I was originally planning on making up a leprechaun, but I think we're going to make this cute lady instead. So this is art that is originally the default art for the Grassrunner Bard, which is why she's holding that little lute. But we're going to use this character arts for Hannah Norton, our sorter, the fencer. Alright, mana interference. So, unique thing about Grassrunners is that they do not have any MP. They have absolutely none, because of their mana interference. So what is this? Grassrunners do not and cannot gain MP, even if a class or ability would otherwise do so. They may, however, use Mako Stones, which are essentially like a mana battery. If a Grassrunner succeeds on a willpower check against a spell, they will be completely unaffected, treating the spell as if it were completely negated. So that means if they were to roll against a spell effect that would deal perhaps a debuff to them, if they succeeded on the roll, instead of being partially affected, they will be completely unaffected. So they are very resistant to magic. Now, the second ability is Natural Communication. Grassrunners Let's see here. Can't understand plants and animals to a small degree. While this does not mean an entire conversation can be held, the Grassrunner can build up on subtle expressions, such as if there is danger ahead or something wrong in the environments. So they can get hints on the area from little small creatures and plants in the area around them while they're traveling. Alright, so we have our name, we have our race, and the type that we're starting off with. So let us see what sort of environments that Hannah began her life with. Grassrunner table is on page 84 of the character building book. So let's roll a d66. That is a 44. Environments. 44 is growing up in the city or underworld. Excuse me. You are a Grassrunner orphan. Because of your skills, you are very useful in the underworld. It is up to the orphan to decide whether to sink into the darkness of the underworld or leave for a brighter place. I think Hannah is going to be going for the brighter place here. I don't think she's going to be sticking around in the darkness, especially with the adventuring party that she already has waiting for her. Next is a childhood experience. Childhood experience. Childhood experience is on page for Grassrunners. Page 100 of the character sheet. And let's see. Since we went with Sorcerer, they are going to be on the warrior category. Alright, let us roll a d66. That is... what's on the left? Let's reroll that. Okay, that is the 3 is just slightly more on the left, so 34. 34. Let's see here. Childhood experience at 34 is overflowing sense of style. Balance. Let's see, what does this mean? You have generally been able to solve most things by inspiration. And the quotes, I don't know what the word worry means. Very, very happy-go-life, despite the origins of her childhood environment, I mean. Alright, so 7, 4, 13, 3, and 13. Okay, there we are. And the life expectancy of Grassrunners is actually 200 years old. They are a bit longer lived. Let's see here. So let us see how old this Grassrunner is in childhood for their first happening. First happening. Oops. That's what age were they? So the life expectancy, they are a childhood from 8 years or younger. 8 years. So starting at 8 years of age. Old, what happened? On page 110 of the character building book. First happenings. Let's roll a d6 number on the left. That is a 1. Accidents and tragedies. Alright, what's happened to Hannah? That is... I need that to be rerolled. 55. Lost friends and allies. Ooh. From a young age. Lost friends and allies. And this happened when she was growing up in the underworld. That's very, very unfortunate. Did I read out what overflowing sense of style was? I actually cannot remember. Let's go back to it. Childhood experience. Oh yes, we did read that. You have been generally able to solve most things by inspiration. Right. Okay, so next we go to the juvenile experience table. For Grassrunners, that is for the warrior type. On page 104. Okay, so grass runners are kind of restricted on this table because they cannot choose any of the magic classes. So if I land on any of them, I have to reroll. So it's going to be a D66. 26. Let's see here. Couldn't live in the city. Okay. Couldn't live in the city. Okay. We're going to have another ranger in the party. Ranger. Juvenile experience. Couldn't live in the city. You may have been driven out of the city or lost your home, or perhaps nature has always been your home. So that is 1000 EXP left. Ranger, level 1. Okay. So we've got that going. We've got a clear idea of where Hannah's lifestyle is going. So now let us move on to the second happening. That's what age did this happen? So let us roll 2d6 plus 2. So previous age was 8. She is now 10 years old. And what is the life expectancy for juvenile years? It's 9 to 14 years. So we're still well within range. Alright, back to the happening table. Let's see here. 43. Or no, sorry. It's a d6, so it's just a 4. Go to the love table. We're landing on love quite often today. Let's see here. I don't know which one's on the left. That is a 26. Love table 26. In love with someone of a different status. In love with someone of a different status. And I am prompted to roll again on an additional table. Oh no, I don't need to roll again on a separate table. In love with someone of a different status is what happened at 10 years old. Already, there's a clear picture of who this person is. Alright, let's go on to the adolescent experience. Adolescent experience. For the warrior type. Focus is balanced. Overflowing silence. Yep, that's balanced type. So that is the table. Adolescence for warrior type is going to be balanced type. It is a d6, a 5. Trained to fight. Trained to fight. As a soldier or in school, you have trained to fight. There, you could have learned how to use the right armor. So that gives our friend here armor proficiency A. And when you choose armor proficiency, you have to pick a type of armor as well. So it has to be either non-metal, metal, or shield. There is a specific reason why, as a fencer, she is going to have to choose armor proficiency A, non-metal. Okay, so fencers. They are restricted on what sort of equipment they can wear. and use. So you notice how the strength is 5? You notice how in all the equipment that I've picked up so far is that it always has to be less than their maximum strength ability score. For a fencer, their minimum strength is counted as half of whatever their current strength stat is, rounded down. So let me just double check it is rounded down or rounded up, but I'm pretty sure it is rounded down in most cases for this game. Let's see here. Fencer. Okay, I'll have to double check this afterwards. But yes, I believe it is rounded down. There's the book, character building book, does take this into consideration, and so the minimum strength that of the lowest that they give you is either a minimum strength of 1, 9, or 13. And in the case of Hannah here, with strength of 5, I mean, she can only wear the minimum strength of 1 equipments. Okay, train to fights. We picked armor proficiency A, which means that Hannah can wear better armor than others. And then, why did she go on adventure? Let's see here. Why did adventuring reason? How old was she when she went on that adventure? It is 5 plus 1 equals 6 plus 10. She is now 16 years old. At 16 years old. Let's see here. Why I went on adventure? Roll a D66. That is 66. To overcome fear. That is the reason why Hannah went on an adventure. To overcome fear. Okay, I think I have a picture of what sort of person she is. Okay, let us move on to completing. We still have 1000 EXP left. We'll come back to that afterwards. Because we're going to give her some equipments. Equipment by type, warrior type, sorter type, fencer. She can only equip the light items, so she's going to begin with a knife. Stands as one-handed. I'll come back to the rest of the stats later. Cloth armor. We'll check out what's the higher tier armor is in just a moment. Buckler is what she gets. And she also has an adventure set, as well as an awake potion. And she is left with 895 gold. So everyone starts with 1,300 gold. I should have probably mentioned that. Was it 1,300 or 1,200? Let me double check. I believe it is 1,200. Let's see here. Yep, everyone starts with 1,200 gold to start. Now then, we were going to look at some of the equipments and their stats. The knife first is considered under swords. So it is minimum strength of 1, one-handed. It can also be thrown as well. No bonus to accuracy. Power is 1. And crit value is 10. However, because we are using the Fencer class makes it so that what your crit value is always -1. So crit value is now 9. Which means that if we were to roll 9 on the power table or higher, you roll again until you don't. So, excuse me. is quite effective. It's very good. But it comes at a cost of lower defense. Fortunately, we can wear some stronger armor, but we'll check out the shield first. The buckler, one-handed, requires 8 strength. Oh no. This is unfortunate. She cannot take the shield or the buckler. Okay. Let me double check this. This is concerning. This is very concerning if if Hannah can't take the shield. Let me double check here. Rules for equipments. I'm going through the book right now. Where does it say the fencer's abilities? Okay, fencer's strength score is halved, rounding up. Oh, it's rounded up to determine what minimum strength requirements they meet when equipping weapons, armors, and shields. Yep. So we're gonna have to refund the buckler because Hannah cannot equip the buckler if she wants to be able to still attack and dodge with the fencer class. So, no buckler. No buckler. Refunded. Oh wait, no. Buckler is 1 strength. I was looking at the wrong row. Buckler. Buckler requires 1 minimum strength. 1 minimum strength. Let's see here. It gives you 1 evasion and 0 defense. That's good. Okay, that's much better now. That's much better now. A minute here. Yep. Okay, now we look at the cloth armor. Should we get cloth armor? Oops. Cloth armor. Or go with points guard. Okay, now this is another unfortunate situation. Rank A armor, the lowest minimum strength required is 5. I hit the mic again. Is 5. However, Hannah's minimum strength is 5. She's not going to be able to make the most use out of this feat. So when you have armor proficiency, it does give you a +1 to your defense. However, Hannah's not going to be able to equip higher level armor right now. Even though she can afford it. Alright, okay. I think I'm going to have to re-roll this. I'm going to re-roll her adolescent experience. Train to fight. Adolescent experience. For warriors, that is balance. That is a 6. Fateful Encounter. Fateful Encounter, weapon proficiency A. When you held the weapon in your hands, you felt a sensation like an electric shock. Throughout your life, you have been known to be a master of this weapon. So weapon proficiency is just like armor proficiency, but you gain a +1 to damage when you use a certain weapon, and you equip rank A weapons as well. So let me just double check to make sure the rank A weapon she can actually equip. Alright, perfect. We're in luck. We are in luck. So, Fateful Encounter. I'm gonna change this. I don't want to have Hannah be a character that is not usable. or not be able to make the most of her first early level abilities. So we're gonna give her weapon proficiency A, sword. Now, knife. Instead of purchasing the knife, we're gonna refund that for 30 gold. Plus 895, 925, 925. All right, and the weapon that she will start off with is a A rank sword. A rank sword is, you can be either a fast, it has to be a fast spike. Fast spike is one-handed and it can be thrown. Minimum strength required is 1. It has accuracy of +1, and its power is 6. Something that is heavily needed. And then +1 extra damage thanks to weapon proficiency A. Weapon proficiency A. Swords +1 damage. Already calculated. Perfect. So it can be thrown or can be used just in hand to stab someone. Let me get dice off the screen there. Sorry about that. Okay, here we are. Weapon proficiency A, fast spike, cloth armor. I did not write down the stats for that yet. So non-metallic armor, cloth armor, has minimum strength requirements of 1 and defense 2. Perfect. So as you can see, Hannah here has 6 evasion and 2 total defense, whereas our other frontline warrior has 4 evasion and 5 defense. It's a good trade-off, and Hannah is able to be more likely to deal extra critical damage, which is going to be very handy here. Okay, so we have, alright, I forgot to deduct the money from purchasing that fast spike, which is, how much is that? That's 820 gold. Oh, perfect. Minus, she has 105 gold left. Okay, let's see here, where are we? Yeah, I think we've finished creating Hannah's character. Oh, right, and MP is 0. Because as a Grassrunner, Hannah cannot gain any MP. So, let us write out her story. Alright, Hannah. Hannah grew up in the city slums. Without much worry due to her natural talents in surviving. However, during a gang war, many of her friends and allies were caught up in the street fights and were killed or died. Let's see here. She couldn't stay within the cities with all her terrible memories and left to go out into the world. However, she had a fateful encounter when she came across a young noble practicing with their sword outdoors. She fell in love with this young noble, knowing that she could never be with him. But she strove to be as close to them. No, strove to learn more about them by practicing with a similar weapon herself, and realized that this weapon felt perfect in her hands. This knife felt perfect in her hands. To overcome her fear of her terrible past and a dream to perhaps one day stand by the side of that young noble she came across, she set out on a journey to become an adventurer. Perfect. Here we go. All right. Now we have 1000 EXP points left, so we can probably pick up an additional class with that. We are missing a sage and a scout in this party. Let's see here. I think I am going to change Elliot into a scout instead of a ranger. We don't need another scout, another ranger in this party. So let's say that his parents, since his parents were an adventuring party, so let's say that they taught him how the scout skills to hide, to run around, both outdoors and indoors within the dungeons, because they most likely crawled the ruins for money, and they probably took Elliot with them. Let's see here. However, we need a sage in the party, so I'm going to give sage to our friend here, to Hannah, and this will allow her to look for monster weaknesses, because she is much more worldly than the rest of our party members. We have Elliot, who is a nightmare, who wants to go out into the world for fame. That's why he wants to become an adventurer. We have our Tabbit Warren and our priest Meria Sorcerer, who are going out in the world because they want to see the world. Warren wants to show Sorcerer the world outside, and Sorcerer wants to see the world before she dies, because she only has 10 years of life. So in comparison to our friends here, Hannah has a much more grounded past. So we have 500 EXP left. What can we do with this? Let's see here. What can we do with 500 EXP? We could, we can't level this up because that'd be too much, and I don't want to really leave 500 EXP left over. So let me just take a look and see what other classes we could probably pick up for her. Another minor class. Let's see here. We could pick up Marksman. We could pick up Enhancer or Bard, Rider, Alchemist, Geomancer, or Tactician. Okay, so our choices here. Enhancer would be to give herself additional personal buffs. A bard would require her major action, and we don't really want to put a bard on the front lines, especially when right now you're at low level. So Fencer is going to be the main class, so bard is out of the question right now. Rider, I don't think she's the type to be on a horse. She grew up in the slums, so a rider doesn't seem to fit into her character. Alchemist, we already have an alchemist with Elliot, our warrior nightmare. Geomancer is basically an RNG class. You don't know who their damage is going to come down on, and I feel like growing in the slums, this wouldn't be the right thing for her. So I'm going to actually go with Tactician. Oops. There we go. Is there any other way we could change this? No. We rolled all those other stats. We're gonna go with this. If I were to like rework all these characters, I would probably make Elliot's our scouts. And then I would make Warren. Oh wait, Warren has 500 EXP left too. Ah, yikes. In that case, we're going to make Warren the Sage instead. So we can use up that last EXP. We don't need another Sage then. We have 1000 EXP left. Maybe we should pick up a magic. No, we can't pick up a magic class because Grassrunners can't cast magic. And we can't level up Fencer to 3. We can! Should we make her a Fencer 3? I feel like we should try and keep everyone on the same power level here. Oh dear. Fencer is a minor class. And I can't give her a magic class to go with this. I would normally have chosen a magic class. Ranger 2. Yeah, I think we're going to go with this. I could technically make her a tactician as well. But then I'm left with another 500, which means I need to pick up another minor class. And I don't want to have to double dip. But it makes more sense for her to be a scout. Scout 1, 2, no. Ranger makes sense because she didn't have access to potions, or didn't have access to like good health and stuff. Such like that. So she had to make do with herbs and potions that she managed to find and scrounge out. Not potions, but probably herbs like weeds and stuff, and managed to figure out what works well for injuries. So yeah, let's just make it Ranger 2. And then our warrior hero will be our scouts. And Warren will be the sage. Ranger is a backup. Backup ranger. Sage is what will level up in the future for him. Our mage Meria here doesn't have any supports classes, but that's fine because their priest and conjurer will provide plenty of support already. Alright, let us finish wrapping up with their gold, 105 gold. What else can we purchase? Low level items. Recommended items. Magic herbs to recover HP outside of combat costs 100. So magic herb times 1. So you kind of has 5 gold left. And then let's see here. An awake potion is 100 gold. Adventure set's 100. How about a healing potion? Where's the healing potion? Healing potions cost 100 gold. Let's give our friend here healing potion times 2. So 30 gold left. Our Sorcerer Tabbits has 400 gold. Let us give you... We don't want to run out of mana with you, so let's give you a Mako Stone. Mako Stone. 3 points. That's 1. So Mako Stone, 3 points of mana essentially as a battery. That costs 300 gold. And then... Magic herbs. Let's give life grass instead to you. Life grass is worth 30 gold. Oh, excuse me, I made a mistake. So magic herbs actually recovers MP. Excuse me. Let me just a moment. You need to mute to cough a bit. Excuse me. So, I made a mistake earlier. Magic herbs are actually used outside of combat to recover MP. Life grass is used out of combat to recover HP, and it is considerably cheaper than buying a healing potion. Healing potion costs 100 gold. Life grass costs 30 gold. So let us make some adjustments. We can probably afford to purchase 3 life grass for 90. That leaves 20 gold left. Our Grassrunner here does not need to have any magic herbs, so let's refund that for 100 gold. And let's purchase a healing potion, which is 100 gold. Our Meria Priest, like potion times 1. Magic herbs, let's purchase a healing potion for 100 gold. Healing potion times 3. Let's make a 3 for 110 gold. And then spend the rest of that money. Actually, no. Let's undo that. 400 gold. Let's purchase 1 healing potion for 300. And then we will go and purchase a Mako Stone with 3 points of mana for 300. Perfect. And with that, we have our party. Everyone is dirt poor. Nope. Elliot is going to spend his last 30 gold for life grass. Penniless adventurer. Everyone has no money, or almost no money, which means that they are ready to go out on an adventure. The very first quest that they take, they need to take the money, and they won't have any money to spend to do any shopping beforehand because they are already all prepared to go out on an adventure. So, let us finalize our party's story, because we were able to create quite an interesting collaboration between each of these party members. Let's see here. Let's create a new document. And who do we have here? Alright, so... Oh, what's this? I don't need any of that. Alright, so we have Elliot's what's his name? Elliot's Earhart. Elliot Earhart is our warrior. Sorry, he is a nightmare. That's his race. And his classes are Fighter, Alchemist, Scout. Fighter, 2, Alchemist, 1. Let me zoom in here so it's easy to see. Oh, maybe let's put up the entire party up too. Let's see here. We have Hannah, Elliot, we have, let's see here, we have Warren, and then Sorcerer. Oops. Let's make friend here a bit smaller. Let's put the one next to me right here. Tabbit go there. And our friend Warren. Elliot, sorry. Okay, there we go. Alchemist and Scout 1. Then we have Warren. He is Tabbit. No, Tabbit, not Rabbit. They are Sorcerer, Ranger, Sage. Sorcerer 2, Ranger 1, Sage 1. Then we have Sorcerer. Sorcerer, short Meria, short-lived. They are Priest 2, Conjurer 1. And then Hannah Norton, a Grassrunner. And they are, let's see here, Fencer 2, Ranger 2. Fencer 2, Ranger 2. Alright, so here's our party. Elliot's is a up and coming adventurer who seeks fame. He went to the local adventurers guild and found a new party. Warren went to a local adventurers guild to form a new party. There, he met Warren and Sorcerer, who hoped to join the Adventurers Guild to see the world outside, but they were not very knowledgeable about how to get around. Seeing their helplessness, Hannah decided to join their party and lend her knowledge and street smarts to this young group. And there we are. There we have it. We have a full adventuring party. We were able to randomly generate quite an interesting story for all these characters. So Elliot was born between a human couple on the road while they were adventuring. I'm not sure why someone pregnant is on the road while adventuring, but that is the situation. So he was born to an adventuring party, and they raised him like one. They accepted him into their fold despite his nature as a nightmare. And when he was old enough, he went out to the Adventurers Guild to seek fame and to create his own name because he didn't want to be in the shadow of his parents for his entire life. Warren, he doesn't know who his parents are. So he was born and raised within a magical forest, and he expected to live there for most of his life until Sorcerer came into his life. Sorcerer is a Meria that was stranded in the ocean, and she drifted ashore near the magical forest, and she was brought into their fold. And she didn't want to be alone, so the forest paired them together. And Warren, not wanting Sorcerer, who has a very short life, to die before she saw the world outside, decided that he would take her out and show her the world. Hannah is a Grassrunner. She's an orphan and she lived in the slums of a city. She left her own home because all her friends died within the gang war, and she decided to strike it out on her own. And she came across these naive 3 people and decided to join their group. And off they went on to the Adventurers Guild. They signed up and they formed a new party, and they are now off onto their newest adventure. Here we go. We have a full adventuring party for Sword World 2.5. Here we are. That's all it took. Sword World 2.5, the full character generator using the character building book. I did my best to point out the page numbers that I was referring to whenever possible. And if you are interested in making your own character, or perhaps making your own party, or showing other people how to make a character, a fully fleshed out character with their own history and a reason why they have the classes and the feats and the abilities that they do have, then I encourage you to take a look at the character building book. It is very interesting, and it's very fun to see what sort of characters your party can build together and what sort of adventures that they can go on. And I think that this is a fascinating way, and this is a great way to learn how to build a new character. Flipping through back and forth in the book is, I will admit, it is a bit difficult and a bit confusing because you have to move between so many different pages. However, once you flip through a few times, you get the sense of where each page is for what, and it will help you out quite a lot once you are familiar with these. So yeah, without further ado, I hope you enjoyed watching how to create this character group. And once again, I will be putting up these character pages that I created after I clean them up a little bit into the description below. It might take me a few days or two, just until I have time to do it. But yeah, I hope you make your own characters, and if you have a really cool, interesting concept that you came up with, please let me know. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear what sort of character you made and what sort of adventure you'd love to see them on. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy making your own character in Sword World 2.5, and go out and have fun. Take care and have a good night.